Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's an old saying that everything's bigger in Texas. Well, that just so happens to be the case with today's 5th edition of the Muerto Times. Guys, this one is huge. This is bigger than every Muerto Times and every patch that we've received so far in this game combined. This is massive for quality of life within the game. We're going to go over every single thing in this Muerto Times. We're going to dissect all of it individually. So sit back, grab a bowl of popcorn, man, and tune in for this one. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we jump into this, I know a lot of people have been mentioning the gun's been kind of silent on Twitter, you know, the other social medias, Reddit and all that stuff regarding this game. Well, this is what's been happening behind the scene, guys. These guys have been heads down at work because I've never, at least in most of the games that I've played, I've never seen an incoming patch or fixes this massive. This is huge for the longevity of the game. Gun, it's very, very clear that Gun and Sumo Digital care about this game and they want to get things fixed. So let's jump into it, dude. Over 250 fixes in testing right now, which means that this may come in just more than one patch, but there are massive fixes that have been plaguing the game since the very beginning. Let's jump into it. The very first one, man, Grandpa cutscene missing. So I don't think I even need to explain that one. Everybody knows the issue with that one. I wouldn't exactly say it's a game-breaking issue, but it can definitely cost you a kill, especially if you're Leatherface in the basement. It makes your chainsaw overheat. You're running into walls. It's super annoying. Folks have been trying to figure out exploits for it and things like that, but it's super annoying. We all dislike it. It is being changed. Confirmed change. Grandpa Awakened cutscene has been replaced with a simple banner notification. That's it, guys. It's being replaced with a banner. That's what I've been saying since the very beginning. I don't know how easy that is to implement, but that's what I said. Just put a simple banner, maybe a sound alert to go with that banner. That way, you know, if in case you miss it, you hear it too. Simple as that. Grandpa cutscene's gone. No more kind of cock blocking Leatherface out of kills and things like that. So, definitely a great start to this Muerto Times. Next, we're going to go with Grandpa Perks Up. Okay, Grandpa Perks unequipping match to match is a fix in testing. So, that also has been an issue. And also, it's not stated here, but I'm sure they probably know this too, is that if you would try to unequip a Grandpa perk, sometimes it would not unequip. So it's kind of working in both ways incorrectly. So this is going to be another major fix as well. So if you're trying to run exterior alarms with your team, and that's the only Grandpa perk you want to run, sometimes one of your teammates won't be able to take that Grandpa perk off if they try to take their Grandpa perk off. So that's huge here as well. Next we have, guys, the local fuse box saboteur in town. Saboteur perk now accurately affects the fuse box as well as the generator. Now, as not being much of a victim main, I do know what saboteur does, but I did not know that it didn't already affect the fuse box and the generator, but now that's going to be fixed as well. That is also another amazing change. They did say that they're going to be working on tweaking perks, working on perks, things like that, so saboteur is another good one to come in with as well. Now this one, guys, here as well, and I want to talk about this one for a little bit. This is Family Valve's exploit, and a lot of people know what that is. With certain family members, if you hit, you know, the interact button with the pressure tank as well as the ability button on some of the characters, you can instantly shut off the valve when it's turned on. And I'm going to be the first to admit, guys, that I have done this mainly with Slaughterhouse, because we all know how difficult it is to defend the pressure tank at Slaughterhouse against a good victim team. I have done this quite a few times, and I'm not afraid to admit that, but this is fine. They are addressing this. Ability to instantly exploit the valve closing mechanic is being addressed. So they're going to be fixing that to where we're not going to be able to do that anymore, but that's fine because we're going to get into what's going to happen with the victim side on the next one too. But yes, the Family Valve exploit is going to be fixed. I already knew that was going to happen eventually. Johnny Trail goes cold. This is another one, too, I've noticed playing Johnny. Fix in testing for a bug that made the footprints disappear from Johnny almost instantly. So, even if they are in range, even if the victim's in range of you sometimes, whenever you listen to their footprints, you'll pick up a footprint and then it'll be gone. As soon as you listen to it, the footprints will be gone, even if they're in range. This is a big problem, and it honestly makes, Johnny's ability pretty much void. So, this is going to be good. After this fix, you'll be able to always see the footprints if they're in range. Of course, when they're in range. Now, yet another one, guys, that is massive. 5 out of 7 victims agree. Now, they kind of worded this one a little wrong, but I know what they mean. If a full lobby has 5 out of 7 victims ready, which they mean 5 out of 7 players in total ready, victim and family, that match timer drops to 30 seconds. So, if 5 of the people in the lobby, doesn't matter if it could be 3 family members readied up 2 victims, it could be 4 victims, 1 family member, it doesn't matter. If 5 of them are readied up, that lobby timer instantly drops to 30, and that is perfectly fine because 30 seconds is more than enough time to figure out if you need to put on bomb squad or if you need to put on stunt double, and you need to get all that stuff going. 30 seconds is way more than enough time, guys. This is awesome. So if you have that buddy that constantly is in your game, and every time you lobby up, he goes and takes a dump or something, and he comes back to, 2 or 3, 4 minutes later, it doesn't matter. If he's the one not readying up, he's going to be readied up. This is what we need for the lobby. This is one thing that has been plaguing the game, is the lobby times take way too damn long. And another thing is that it encourages people more to dodge the lobbies that they take too long, because if you're sitting there waiting on somebody that's not readying up, and you still have 2 minutes on the timer, some people won't sit there and wait. They won't wait. They'll just bounce. But now it'll be down to 30 seconds. This is absolutely massive. I don't really need to say any more about that. Now, this is another one, guys. I do not play on PC, but I know of this issue. I know a lot of my PC friends have had this issue, and it has to suck for them because a lot of us rely on a trail of blood to find these victims whenever they slip from our grasp. We use the blood trail. We find them with that. A lot of times on PC, folks would not even be able to see blood trails, period, at all, like you could on console. That is brutally game-breaking. That is being fixed as well, and I feel bad for you PC guys that weren't able to see that stuff, man. But I can only imagine that's pretty rough. So, the blood trails will be fixed. You will be able to see the blood trails on PC again. That's great. Here's one, guys. Security pin lockdown. Security pins perk now only affects the cook's locks. That's right, guys. In some instances, security pins, as they were only supposed to work on the cook's locks, they were affecting every lock on the map. So, in some instances, they were working like, I always get the name wrong. Tougher Than Hell? Nobody Escapes Hell? Whichever one makes the lockpicks harder. They were working like that. Which that's not intended. That needed fixed. That's getting fixed. Next we have, guys, building up pressure. This is another one that I've been mentioning since launch, and a lot of other folks have been too. Turning off the valve will now repressurize the tank. So, basically, guys, you're going to lose progress. If you turn on the tank, a family member turns off the tank, you might want to stay nearby. Don't run too far away, because the longer you wait, that tank will be repressurized. It will lose all of its progress back to 0. So you're going to have to turn the tank back on. So you're going to want to be wary of that. This is I don't know how slowly it's going to depressurize. I'm sure it's going to be pretty slow, which it should be. I hope it doesn't instantly do that and not make the victims ever want to go for the pressure valve again, because that's not what we want. We just don't want victims abusing the pressure valve every single game, especially in Slaughterhouse. So pressure valve will start to repressurize once it is turned off by the family. Next we have, guys, Slaughterhouse renovations, baby. This is one we've been talking about for a long time. We're getting our wish with the Slaughterhouse. A particularly tricky valve tank will be relocated upstairs for better visibility. That is right, guys. It is finally happening. This is all we needed, was for the pressure tank of the Slaughterhouse, the biggest map in the game, the Slaughterhouse. That's all we needed, was for the pressure tank to be upstairs. Simple as that. And my assumption is, as I've stated before, I can think of 3 good spots already. Would be back at the back of the holding pen, where the back crack is, I think that would be a perfect spot, and it's still a great distance from the gate itself. It would it could be difficult for the family still to get to, which is good. Also, in the middle of the holding pen in the garage could be another possible location for the pressure tank. And another place I'm thinking of too, it could be a little bit close, but it could be up near facility by the garage or by the slaughterhouse sliding door. It could be in that little slot there where the fuse box previously could have spawned. It could be there, or even on the other side of the sliding door. Either or on the other side of the sliding door, I think would be a good spot, because as we know, most of these items, the fuse box, the pressure tank, all that stuff, have 3 possible spawn locations on every map. So we'd have to think of 3 on the top. Them are the 3 that's furthest away from the pressure gate that I can think of. But if you guys have any suggestions for that, please let me know too. So yeah, slaughterhouse renovations. Next we have smokehouse closed for business. You know what that means, guys. The gas station door, as a lot of people like to call the cheese door. The door that can just be instantly popped by Connie if you don't have a cook and you're gone. Very easily. That door is being fixed. It's being reworked. They did not say they're removing it, but it is being reworked. Now, does that mean they're going to put the cattle grid in front of the door as well, to where you have to shut off the generator to either get out the gate or the door? I think that'd be a good solution, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe it's something entirely different. Maybe they'll make the door harder to get out of. Maybe they'll add 2 locks to the door just by default. I don't know. But that door, in my opinion, was kind of a problem, and it just doesn't. I get that the gas station is a huge part of the movie, and you kind of want to make it involved in the game somehow, but that wasn't working. That was almost as easily to escape from as the pressure valve is on Slaughterhouse. That's being looked at as well, so we'll see. It's going to be getting changed. We don't know how, but it's going to be getting changed. Now, this one is one I'm kind of worried about, guys. A little bit worried about. As a partially cook main myself, partially, I like Hitchhiker and Leatherface as well, but I like all the family members. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. Cook ability tuning, guys. That is right. We knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming. The cook is getting nerfed. Ladies and gentlemen, he is getting nerfed. I don't know how I feel about this, but we'll see. So crouch walking will now hide you from the cook seek ability, and the duration of outlines due to detection have been fixed. So I think what this means is, by fixed, they mean reduced with the duration outlines. So basically, they're not going to be highlighted as long when you do highlight them with the cook. Also, they did mention crouch walking will stop the cook from seeing you. That already happens. If you crouch walk when the cook's listening, you will not be seen. I think what this means is crouch running. So if you hit your, if you're on PlayStation, your L1 button, to kind of like jog. If you do that when you're crouching, right now in the game, if you do that when you're crouching, the cook will still hear you. He'll be able to hear you when you're doing that, because the game kind of accounts as you're standing up and running. But now that will not be the case. So you'll be able to move a lot faster while crouching and still not be detected by the cook. Now, I will be the first to say this, guys, that as a cook main, I think this is a great change. As someone who's played a lot more Victim recently as well, I see what Victims are talking about. The cook is very brutal. A good cook is very brutal to deal with in the game, and very, very difficult to deal with. And this is a much needed change. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not like you can stand up and run and he won't be able to hear you, or even just stand up and walk. You have to be crouching. You have to not be heard by the cook. So it still makes the cook powerful, but it gives you a little less leeway than having to sit there and slowly crouch for the entire game, because that is super annoying. So, Cook's getting worked. He's getting nerfed. That is fine, in my opinion. We'll see how it works after he does, but I'm okay with it. Next, we have Tie It Off. Tourniquet perk is being fixed and will no longer completely remove bleed from our bleed effects. So, yes, Tourniquet, guys, was an ability that was supposed to temporarily stop you from bleeding out. Because as we know, during the game, you're already injured. As soon as you start the game, you're already bleeding out and taking damage, especially from serrated, things like that. It's going to make you bleed out even more. And Tourniquet is supposed to temporarily stop that for you. But there's been an issue in the game where if you run Tourniquet, which are people that abuse the car in the gas station, if you run Tourniquet once, it would prevent you from bleeding out the rest of the game. Which means that before the car got fixed in the gas station, folks could go in there and hide. If there were no Sissy and Hitchhiker on the gas station map, they could go in there and hide with Tourniquet, use Tourniquet once, and they could sit there forever. They could just forever sit there and just hold the game hostage. So that's being fixed as well. You know, the car is obviously gone in this last patch, but Tourniquet also is fixed as well. So that is definitely good. Also, we have the auto crouch toggle. Testing out a toggle for the auto crouch so players can choose to turn it off. Okay, so I'm not sure about this, guys. I don't use auto crouch. I don't know if some of you out there do use it. All I know is I hit circle to crouch and circle again to stand back up, so I don't have any kind of auto crouch. I didn't even know it was a thing in this game. Or maybe it's not a thing and they're putting it in the... I don't know. Whatever. If you guys could kind of let me know about that. Auto crouch toggle. There's going to be something with that. You can choose to turn it off. So if that works for you guys, that's awesome, man. I don't know much about it. But next we're going to talk about... This is what I'm interested in, guys, because I don't know exactly what this means. No-cell versus chainsaw. So it does say no-cell will now more accurately affect overhead chainsaw attacks from Leatherface. By accurately affect, I don't really know what that means, because I know with running no-cell, you know, if you get hit by an overhead with Leatherface, I mean, most of the time that I've seen, no-cell kicks in. It works. You know, you don't take much damage at all, even from an overhead from a full damaged Leatherface. So I don't know if they're fixing this to make you take more damage from an overhead, or what that means either. I'm really not sure. So if some of you victim mans out there, man, if you got any news on that, on no-cell, please feel free to let me know about that too. But that's going to be interesting, because no-cell is obviously a huge victim perk. So that's going to be interesting as well. Now, Gun did say that they are working on perks, tweaking perks and things like that. This is an amazing start, with some of the biggest perks in the game being tweaked the way they should be. Now, that is it for the main page of the Muerto Times, guys. This is, in the past, the trend has been with these Muerto Times. What we've seen on the main page is what we've gotten in the patch. So, there are over 250 fixes in testing, so we haven't even scratched the surface with this, but this is what we know of right now. Now, under investigation, they're investigating grappling tuning. Now, does this mean to where grappler perk's going to be nerfed? Or what? I'm not exactly sure, but they are investigating that. Also, perk rebalancing, which we did see some perk rebalancing already here on the main page, but there's going to be a lot more perks they're going to be looking at, and there's going to be balancing a lot more perks. Perks that might be overkill or OP, they might be fixing them. Or perks that may seem a little underwhelming, you know, hence bring home the bacon or confusing mechanic, things like that. Or maybe perks that just people never ever use because they're not worth using. They're probably rebalancing them too. Also, party disbanding issues. This one's huge for me, guys. There is major issues with being able to hold a party with your friends, or, you know, if one of your friends drop from the party, sometimes you can't even re-invite your friends. You have to recreate a party. Sometimes I have to restart the whole game just to be able to make a new party. Definitely that one's big for me. Also, needs more info. Issues with achievements and unlockables. So, I haven't had this issue. I do have the Platinum Trophy on PS. I did have an issue with one of the trophies previously, preventing me from getting the Platinum, but they fixed that a while ago. And also, I never had any issues with unlockables. So if some of you guys are having issues out there with that, they are working on that for both achievements and unlockables. Next, we have issues with perks and abilities. Again, going back to the perks, the abilities, things like that are all being looked at. They're all being worked on, guys. This is the cream of the crop, man. The coup de grace of patches of the Muerto Times, guys. This is absolutely huge, man. And I know I have been hardcore in this game. I have been 100% defending Gun. Everybody can say what they want about that. I know there's a lot of people that's pissed off in the ASIM community, as always with every ASIM game. I am refusing to be that guy this time. because I wholeheartedly agree that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre will be the last horror ASIM game I ever play, and I have a lot of faith in Gun. I really like what they did with Friday the 13th. I loved what they've done with that game, the community they've built around that game. It was not their fault what happened to that game, and I know that this is their passion, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre now, and I believe in them. It's going to take them a little more time. They're a small studio. Sumo Nottingham is a small studio. It's going to take them a little more time, dude, so just hang tight. This one is huge. This is massive. This could be absolutely game-changing and affect the quality of life for the years to come for this game. So this is a good start, man. Let's give them a little bit of a break. We also have Nancy and Danny releasing at some point. In my opinion, I think maybe next week. Maybe this patch is going to help get that ready. Things are happening within this game. Sure, it might not be as fast as everybody wants, but things are happening. Let's just enjoy it, ride it out, hang tight. Things are going to get better. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to cut it here, dude. We did a 20-minute video. I knew this was going to be a longer one because this is a huge Muerto times. But I wanted to do it for you guys. I know I'm a little bit late to the party. Unfortunately, things got in the way. IRL gets in the way. They always announce stuff during the day, guys. And that is like early in the day. And that's the worst possible time for me. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. We got it out, man. We'll be streaming later on tonight, too. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre here on the channel and also Twitch. It's Sergeant Moose. We'll be streaming that tonight. We'll be talking more and more about this patch. So if you guys want to talk about it a little bit, maybe learn a few things about the patch, feel free to jump in, man. We'll have some discussions. But with that said, guys, hopping off, my name's Sergeant Moose. Thanks so much for tuning in. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.